Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's very fallish signature style Saturday. It's cool outside, we've got all the feels. And today we're going to discuss the first rituals of fall. Now, for me, actually what these are chores in a way that I've just reframed to be rituals so that they won't be so onerous. And what I'm going to do is, well, I'm just going to take inventory of a number of different things, starting in probably my basement. I'm going to take inventory of my fall decor. I'm going to schlep it upstairs. I'm going to go through it, see what I want to use and what I don't want to use and what might go to the thrift store or to Goodwill. Secondly, I'm going to take inventory in my pantry. Do I have all of the goodies that I need to create comfort food for fall, whether that's for entertaining or it's for soups and stews, whatever. We're also going to take a look at my sweater drawers because if there's anything that says fall, it's the first day of sweater weather. I need to clean them out, and well, let's just say it's a ritual to go through all of my sweaters, see what will be discarded, see how I might recreate and reinvent some of my old favorites. And well, again, it's a chore that we're going to turn into a ritual. And then I'm going to identify, I guess, just a couple of other things that I want to take into account long before I really gear up with all that pumpkin spice stuff, before any pumpkins go out, before the first bite of candy corn is taken. Well, what do you say, Stuart? Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to go through my pantry, and this brings me to my first question of the day. What things do you think are absolute pantry staples for fall? Now, for me, there's obvious things. I want to make sure that I have enough canned tomatoes, which I typically have in good supply, canned beans, and that kind of thing. But I am taking notes and I am noticing a number of things that I do not have enough of. Number one would be hot chocolate. I have no hot chocolate in store, and I'm going to put that on my list. The other thing that I don't have are any cans of soup, chicken noodle soup, things like that I can use to make a quick lunch for hubs. And God forbid that any of us get sick and we need a really quick, if not homemade, chicken noodle soup. The other thing I don't have enough of, I love Jiffy brand cornbread. I actually made my first batch of black bean soup last night. It was absolutely delicious, and I used one box of this. I need more. I need lots of box of Jiffy mix. The other thing that I'd like to make sure I have on hand is all sorts of nuts and things that I can use if we're watching a football game, if we're having some friends over. So I've got some, but not as many as I would like. So I'm going to stock up on my nuts. I also don't have enough pasta and things like that. I've got spaghetti noodles, but I don't have any other kind of pasta forms, and I want to make sure that I have that. I've got plenty of cans of pumpkin, which kind of surprises me because I'll be wanting to make some healthy pumpkin muffins and pumpkin bread pretty soon. Pumpkin bread pretty soon. That was a lot of peas. But you need a lot of peas in fall because it is pumpkin spice season. So I need some of that. Speaking of, I've already checked all of my spices, which I keep in a spice drawer, and I think I'm okay in that department. One thing that I know I don't have enough of, even though I have plenty of bouillon cubes, chicken bouillon cubes, I need beef bouillon cubes because we eat a ton of beef stew on rotation in the fall. I need more of that, and I also need just some basic chicken broth. So I'm going to, no, I really don't have much of that. I also don't have enough rice. So I'm going to make sure that I get some wild rice and some things like that. I also don't have many crackers for a charcuterie tray. I do have plenty of red sauce and marinara. I don't have biscotti. So biscotti is one thing I like to treat myself to in the fall, and I want to make sure that I get some more biscotti. And then for Stuart, if for no one else, I do try to have some cookie treats and things like that. And I've got, yeah, so I've got some ginger snaps and things, but I may have to up my supply of that. Like I say, I've got plenty of canned beans. I've got plenty of olive oil in stock. The other thing that I'm going to make sure that I have enough of, which I don't think I do, things like tin foil and parchment paper. I think I need to put those on my list. So I am pretty sure that a trip to Costco is in my future. I do have plenty of coffee, but you know what? I need to up my tea game. I don't have as many options of tea bags. The other thing I don't have, because I've used it all up, is my peach jam and my blackberry jam that my friend Jen makes for me. And so I am definitely going to make sure that I have more of that on hand. One thing I absolutely make sure that I have in my pantry is my Manukora honey, and more on that later. So I think, Stuart, do you have anything to add to my list?
No, I think you covered most of it. The dates are there.
The dates are there. I love dates. I don't know about you guys, but I love medjool dates.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing. I get these at Trader Joe's. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to do that's pantry related, I don't cook much in the summertime, but I do cook quite a bit in the fall and in the winter. And so I want to look for those kinds of appliances that I may have stuck in an unusual location, and I want to identify where they are before I need them. So one thing that I'm going to be looking for is and I'm not sure where it is. Oh, it's down here. My immersion blender. So this is where I keep my immersion blender. And the other thing that I couldn't find until I made salad last night, but I paid attention, I don't use a huge crock pot anymore. I just use my regular stew pot or my Dutch oven on the stove. But I do like to have a mini little crock pot for just Hubs and myself, for just a two for dinner. So I've located that, and I also have my spice grinder and things. Now I know where all of those things are, because I am ritualizing this, making my list and planning my grocery store run. Well, as you guys know, I am obsessed with sourdough bread, but what makes it even better is Manukora honey, packed with prebiotics, antioxidants. I mean, it is just gorgeous. And I love how thick it is, but it's not granular at all. Look, it looks like liquid caramel. Okay, that just makes me so happy, as does its taste. It tastes like no other honey. Not only because I think because it's just so caramelly and it's so delicious, but also because I know it's so good for me. It's got so many amazing health properties. It's great for my gut biome. I mean, I would take Manukora honey over a caramel apple any day of the week. I mean, it's great in tea. It's great in your hot lemon water if you're feeling sick. But if you really want to up the wow factor, put it on a piece of freshly toasted sourdough bread and let your world be rocked, because it is just wonderful. And in fact, I'm not going to talk to you anymore about it, because I'm going to finish this piece of toast before we move on to other fall rituals. Definitely, though, stock your pantry with Manukora honey. You can use the special discount code that's here on the screen, but just do it because, well, let's just say you'll thank me for it. Now, as long as I'm making my grocery list, I'm going to add something to it that's not a pantry item. And please don't forget to put in the comment box below what you consider to be indispensable pantry must-haves for fall. But the thing that I'm going to add to my grocery list, and Sadly, it's not something I can get at farmers markets here, but I will hit a number of grocery stores because it is out with the peaches. I've already noticed they're not as good as they were just last week, Stuart.
That's so true.
That's so true. I just got some last week. They were incredible. This week, not so much. So it's out with the peaches and in with all sorts of different varieties of apples. That is always a ritual at my house. And I'm going to really get the kids on the street involved this year. I'm going to have a number of different varieties of apples, and we're going to have a little apple tasting party, maybe with some Manukora honey to dip those apples into. But I think it's so fun to have an apple tasting party, so I'm going to put that on my list. Something else that I'm going to put on my list, I won't be able to find at the grocery store, but I will visit a number of different places like TJ Maxx or wherever, maybe some Santa Rosa candles in Santa Fe, and that is resupplying my candle supply. You can see here that I just don't have that many. I've been using up all of the little nubs and stubs of old candles. I've been burning them all this week, which in and of itself is kind of a fun thing to do. But now I'm going to ritualize cleaning out my candle drawer. I need lots of tapers, as you can see. I probably need some more because I've broken a number of these, my little glass candle drip things. What are these called? Bobèches. Yes. Bobèches. I need to do that. Look, I sometimes just will keep inspiration pictures in here. So I need to do that. And here's the other thing that I need to do. I ordered last year this is so silly, but I ordered last year a bunch of votives. I just wanted some unscented votives. And yes, they arrived on a day where it was 100 degrees and they all melted together. And I've been tearing them apart, but I'm sorry. Maybe it's time that I just cry uncle and I get some new votives, and I also need some new pillar candles. So I'll be hitting up some of my local shops on Broadway, some of my local gift shops and things to get some really good quality candles. I don't use a lot of scented candles, but I'll get some of those, and I need lots of tapers, and I obviously need some new votives. Well, here's a chore turned ritual, and that is I'm going to be going through all of my sweaters. I have too many. I've had lots of them for years, and I also need to clean out my drawer. The other reason that I want to do this is I think it's so important for all of us because we just forget what we have. And by pulling them out, you excavate what sweaters were underneath, and you can kind of determine which ones you want and which ones you don't want. Now, here's a tip. One thing I have discovered as part of my whole self-knowledge thing, getting to know myself better, is that I don't have a very long neck. And because of that, I have determined that I always, I always kind of migrate towards V-neck sweaters instead of crew neck sweaters. But I only have a few V-neck sweaters. I have tons of lightweight crew neck sweaters. So what does that tell me? It tells me that I need to just kind of revive my sweater game. But I've got a lot of these. Yeah, that one is this is very preppy. This looks very football. This looks very football, kind of Cavaliers, Virginia Cavaliers. That probably just messed up my mic. The reason I'm also pulling all of these out, oh, there's another V-neck. Okay, the reason I'm pulling all of these out is because I know that by pulling them out, I will cheat myself into cleaning out these drawers because I'll have to put them back before I go to bed at night because they're going to be in the way. And once the Stuart does that too. And once they're already kind of out, it's just kind of a fun thing to do. The other reason that I like to do this now is because it's cool today. This is a fun thing to do on a cool day. Like I forgot I even had this sweater. Yeah, I think this was a thrift store find. I forgot I even had it. And then the other thing you can do is you can compare how many sweaters do you have that look virtually alike, and which ones should you keep, and which ones do you maybe not need to keep because they're scratchy or something. Now, see this is something I should have had with my summer wardrobe, not with my fall wardrobe. I mean, it's not rocket science. I need to have this probably with my athletic wear, not with my regular sweaters. So, and I don't have to do this all at once. I can do, 2, 3 at a time. And I'm sure you're thinking, Linda, you have way too many sweaters. And indeed I do. But I won't have as many by the time I finish cleaning out my drawer. And I'll have fun not only assessing what my style is for fall, which is a fun fall ritual in and of itself, but it will be a timely thing to gift fall items in fall for those who really need them, who go to thrift stores. But as I'm doing this, I'm also kind of imagining what will go with what. So I'm thinking, oh, I remember the last time I wore this. It was in Santa Fe. I remembered what I wore it with boots and everything. Huge cow neck sweater. I love this. I didn't wear it enough last year. So these are all of the things that are going through my head as I approach my fall ritual, that's really a chore, and that's cleaning out my sweater drawers. Ooh, yes, we are down in my dark, dank basement because I'm going to bring up several fall items. A lot of it is decor. Some of it isn't, like, to me. Here's another question of the day. I love this wheat sheath, but that reads more Thanksgiving than fall to me. And even before Thanksgiving comes Halloween, but I'm not even ready for Halloween yet. I'm going to reserve that. I am strictly in the apple season of fall. But I do want to start bringing up some of my things, and a couple of tubs I've already brought up. The other things that I'm going to be changing out pretty soon, and that is my pillows. So if you're like me, one of the ways that you can seasonally update your home is by switching out your pillows. So I have a bunch of pillows in here that are velvet. They're more fall, winter appropriate. And I will replace my linen pillows with some of these. So these will go upstairs. Can you see the dust fly down here? Which is why I keep these covered. I've already carried 2 tubs because I didn't necessarily want you to see me carrying those big tubs up my steps that I'm going to go through, and I'm going to show you some of those things that are in the tubs. But I also have a challenge for you. So a lot of you ask me, well, where do I store all of my stuff? And here is where I store a lot of my stuff: different pots, different baskets, wreaths, things of that nature, Christmas items. And Stuart, just pan slowly, and you guys can see some of the things I have. Some of the baskets, my big paella bowl. I've got some brass containers, some copper containers, all sorts of baskets. These huge baskets over here. And you guys, let's get this over here too, Stuart. You guys try to identify something here in my basement, and you tell me which thing you would challenge me to do some kind of decorative something with. See, I've got these down here. I've got all of these trunk vases and things, which are some of my very favorite things. And just identify something and say, Linda, do something with this. And I'll try to, you can see I've got some of these obelisks up here. There's just all sorts of stuff down here. And it's semi-organized. A basement doesn't have to be that organized. More organized than the last time I saw it. Oh yeah, a lot more organized than the last time you saw it. So as I rethink some of this stuff, as I try to segue from summer into fall, then I just need to use what I already have for decor and go through some of my very, very seasonal items and decide what I want to keep and what I want to discard. Okay, well, I have schlepped up from the basement a couple of my fall decor tubs, and you'll notice that they're sitting on this rug, which is something that I will be changing out next week because that's another seasonal change I make. In addition to my pillows, I switch out some of my rugs seasonally, and well, I'll just show you that next week. You guys might do it too, but now let's go through some of these tubs. Now, one thing, again, this is kind of turning a chore into a ritual. As I go through these, I'm also noticing just how dusty and yucky my tubs are. So I've kind of wiped off the bottom, but after I go through these tubs, I'm going to take both of them outside and I'm going to hose them down so that they're not so dusty. And at least when I put them down in the basement, they won't accumulate the dust maybe quite as fast. Okay, so what is in this tub? This is one of my favorite things. So one year I bought, I don't know how many of these dried gourds, and I absolutely love them. Now, if you were me, tell me what you would do with some of these. I mean, I think they're just absolutely beautiful. At my other house, this has been, well, you know what? I'm going to hold that thought because I want to discuss with you maybe next weekend what my biggest challenge has been moving from my former home to this home in terms of decorating, both seasonally and on a daily basis. But I digress. These gourds are absolutely wonderful, and I need to decide. I love this one. I absolutely adore this one, and I need to decide what I want to do with these gourds. I've got more than this. I'm not sure where they are. They must be in another tub. So that's number one. What would you guys do with these? Would you put them all out? Would you put some of them out? This one I sprayed to look like stone. I think it's I don't know. I kind of like it. I think it's kind of fun. Okay. And let's see what's in this tub. And the fun thing is, during the seasons, when I decorate seasonally, I give myself permission, not at Christmas time, for Thanksgiving or whatever. I give myself permission. I don't have to put out every decoration that I have. I can switch them up from year to year. So when I go through these, I think, oh, did I use that last year? And if not, then it might be new to me. Oh, here. I know, it just makes me so happy. Yeah, it makes me so happy. Okay, isn't that just a great gourd? I mean, it's just a great gourd. I can see these in the great room, which I am so not going to show you now because it's a holy mess. It's kind of Hub's knee central right now with his knee bending machine, with all of his meds and all of that. Yeah, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, now I'm not going to talk about this now, but we're going to end this video on this note. And these are my dried cowhorn okra pods. I absolutely love these, and I'm going to share a little bit more about these later. But I just think they're absolutely beautiful. They're one of my favorite things. You can still hear the dried seeds. These do not explode, and I do keep these covered so they don't get dusty. Okay, here's another gourd. And by the way, if you're wondering, Linda, when are you going to pumpkinize? Because yes, pumpkinize is a verb. That is going to be next week. Oh, and Stuart, right here, okay, right here, let's put up the information about my garden tour on October 4th to benefit the OU Breast Institute, because it's so important now with funding being cut to a lot of these different places. Our personal support is that much more important. And you can get tickets through the Eventbrite link that we will put in the description box below, and we'll also put it across here. And you guys just buy tickets. It's going to be from 10 until 2. I'm sure there'll be people who stay longer than that. I know some of you are coming from out of state, and simultaneously there's going to be a Heritage Hills home tour, which is within walking distance of my house. So you could do the home tour and you could do my garden tour, both for great causes on the same day. And I do think we're going to get a good turnout if the weather cooperates, so you might want to get here early. Okay, these were so fun. These I got from Terrain. how many years ago, Stuart? Maybe 4 years ago. Aren't these wonderful? Okay, you guys, give me some ideas. What should I do with this? Because I just think this is just beautiful.
It doesn't look real, but it looks real.
But yeah, it's very wispy, and I love that. So I'm going to have fun thinking about what I want to do. And always before I put something up, I then dust or clean whatever surface it's going to be on. So that's another chore turned ritual. This one, I just think is just iconic. And this is my oak leaf metal garland. And I just think it is absolutely superb and absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and it sounds cool. I love it. I have a thing for oak trees and a thing for acorns. Can you see the acorns on it, Stuart? Yeah. So I think this is really, really wonderful. So this is the first of my 2 tubs. I did buy, just because I couldn't resist, I did buy my first pumpkin at Trader Joe's this past week because it was the first day that they got their pumpkins in, and it was so cute because the cashier girl, she was saying, I said, "Are you having a good day?" And she said, "I'm having a great day. The pumpkins have arrived at Trader Joe's," and that's always very fun. So that is a fall ritual too, is going to Trader Joe's to see what kind of fun pumpkins they have. Though typically most of them I get at with my friend Jen at Bricks. But I did buy 1 pumpkin because I'm really wanting to locate. Here's a tip. I'm really wanting to locate really stark white pumpkins this year. That's a vibe that I'm trying to channel, stark white pumpkins. Okay, when we come back, I want to show you the story behind my okra pods and how I plan on using them in my fall decor. Well, hello, children. It's story time and time for Linda to plug her new book, which comes out in October, but that you can pre-order now from your source of choice, preferably your local bookstore, but if not, all sorts of different online sources. And we will put a link to a number of them right here. My Year of Garden-Inspired Living, season by season. And definitely, fall is one of our favorite seasons, and here is one of my rituals. I do this every year, late summer and into fall. And this one is about my dried okra. And this is truly, these little stories are truly how these ideas came to me. And this okra story is entitled Thomas Jefferson in Santa Fe. They caught her eye even among all of the other eye candy at a high-end florist on the west side of Santa Fe. Bone white okra pods, mimicking cast white stone, were piled high in an old black clay paella, both handles of the vessel still intact. Good thing, since it was heavy, hefty, and handsome, the perfect container to hold the magnificent okra quimbombo pods. She recognized the dried holes immediately, having grown some cow-horned okra from seed purchased at the Monticello gift shop. Thomas Jefferson was known to be a fan of the vegetable in soups and stews. Whether or not he ever used the dried husks in a decorative way to adorn his table at Monticello for guests is unknown, though given his cleverness, she didn't doubt it. Inspired by both Jefferson and the Santa Fe florist, she decided to recreate the striking composition in her own home. So, why not try placing a bowl of dried cow horns okra or maybe red burgundy okra pods into an earthen pot with or without greenery to add a seasonal flourish to a coffee table or centerpiece. They are rustically elegant with their bony white black-ribbed exteriors. Isn't that gorgeous? But can take on a sophisticated tone when spray-painted gold, copper, or silver. Extra credit if multiple pods remain hanging like ornaments from a strong, dried stem. I think it would also be fun to make a garland out of these with some dried leaves and just have these suspended from the garden and hanging, or from the garland and hanging in front of your mantle or fireplace or someplace in your kitchen. You could also suspend, now that I'm thinking about them, You know how in Santa Fe, how they do pepper pods like this, and then they hang them all together, and I can't remember the name of that.
I like okra pod better.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be fun to have all of these suspended together? So this is something that I do every year. Kayla, my buddy, she grew okra, and I said I want some both tiny pods and some very big pods, because Stuart and I love to eat the tiny okra pods just raw, but I love the great big ones that might be a little too stringy, a little too leathery, and I put them outside to dry. It's really, really a fun thing to do, and I'll show you how I stage them in my own home for fall. I enjoy it. It reminds me of both gardening and decor, and well, let's just say it's a fall ritual that I honor every year.